欢迎收看神秘文怪事。大家好，我是团长。没有订阅的朋友，请按下订阅按钮，谢谢大家。加入我们优秀神秘文怪事团，拜托大家用力按下订阅，达到1000订阅。大家可以留言告诉我。我上一集影片讲到，马斯克 SpaceX 星舰首度试飞行失败。没有看过新朋友，我建议先看。我把上一集影片放在说明栏。全球首富马斯克说，要带领人类移民火星。那我们不禁有个疑问，各国现在都在探索火星。但比起遥远的火星，月球的距离不是更近吗？为什么现在不再送人上月球了呢？距离人类第一次登月已经超过50年，现在科学家反而都把重点给放在火星。对此呢有几种说法，有人说人类登月本身就是骗局，也有一说是在阿波罗登月计划当中，太空人在月球上面遇到了外星人，而且更看到月球背面有文明建筑，所以吓得美国人是不敢再送人上月球了。而真相到底是什么呢？
We're faced with a choice. Which future do you want? Do you want the future where we become a spacefaring civilization and are in many worlds and are out there among the stars, or one where we are forever confined to Earth?
全球首富马斯克最近动作频频，正一步一步实现要把全人类带上火星的梦想。移民太空或许不再是有钱人的专利，但当世界各国现在都专注在火星任务上，我们是不是忘记了过去曾有一项同样伟大的计划？
Across the 50s and 60s especially, the Cold War was fought between the US and the USSR via technological one-upmanship in the arms race and the space race. Nuclear weapons were getting more and more powerful, though the lack of any actual conflict thankfully meant that none of them were being used. So both sides decided to use their rockets for something else, spaceflight.
人类朝宇宙出发的第一个重大里程碑，那不用说肯定是阿波罗登月计划。
Humans have been staring up at the moon for as long as we've been around, wondering what secrets our sibling in the sky might hold.
这个每天晚上，当我们抬头望向夜空，看到的洁白天蓝卫星，存在着无数未知和神秘。许多人好奇，为什么现在各国都在朝火星出发，反而像是忘记了这个离我们更近的月亮？难不成是有什么样的原因，让人类不能或不敢再度登上月球吗？先让我们回顾一下这个最传奇的登月任务。 1969年7月16号清晨，人类的太空史上即将画下全新里程碑。3、2、1、0 ，All engine running。继续去探索。阿波罗11号顺利升空，守在电视机前的全球5亿观众被这一幕深深撼动。登月任务成功踏出第一步，而在几天之后，登陆月球的这一步更被世人牢牢记住。 当年39岁的阿姆斯壮留下这段经典名言，外界也好奇，为什么是由他来当登月先锋，而不是搭档艾德林？根据外媒商业内幕报道，大众认为阿姆斯壮能率先登月，是因为他在3名太空人之中是最资深的。但搭档艾德林曾透露，一般太空任务中会由最之前的组员先进入太空，资深太空人则留守舱内指挥调度。但在阿波罗11号的任务中， NASA 打破潜规则，就是要让人类第一次的月球漫步，更具有象征意义。各界有不同观点，有的认为是因为登月舱门设计在艾德林座位的反方向，如果他要先登月，计划会很难执行，才让阿姆斯壮完成。除了技术困难，也担心太空中有其他未知的威胁。据传当时科学家害怕3名太空人登月后身上会残留外星微生物等病原体，还先安排他们住进无菌隔离室整整3周，到底是什么呢？
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
当年的登月创举，让美苏2国太空竞赛达到巅峰。经过半世纪后的今天，人类对宇宙的探索继往开来，热情依旧，技术设备也都更上一层楼。
The average annual rainfall hit another low. The world's water will be reduced by 40% in the next 10 years.
串流平台推出科幻惊悚韩剧，讲述因为气候变迁导致地球水资源匮乏，人类只好转向太空寻找，并且在月球上找到一座废弃多年的渤海，进而引发一连串事件。距离阿波罗计划过去50多年，人类又有了突破性发现。
NASA's Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy has confirmed, for the first time, water on the sunlit surface of the moon. This discovery indicates that water may be distributed across the lunar surface and not limited to cold, shadowed places.
自然天文学期刊发表一篇最新研究，指出科学家在月球表面最大的陨石坑克拉维斯陨石坑发现有水的存在。
During the first manned lunar landing of Apollo 11, the detection of water is of fundamental importance. As a building block of life, it could have enabled extraterrestrial beings. but also plays an important role in further space exploration as well as in proposed colonies on the moon.
事实上，早在10年前，印度的月球飞船1号就已经发现月球上有水，不过当时使用的光谱只有3微米波长，会让科学家难以区分这到底是水还是羟基化合物。而现在使用更长的6微米波长观察月球表面，确认就是水分子。
The dark blue regions in this visualization are places on the south pole of the moon with a suppressed flux of neutrons because of their interaction with hydrogen. These areas strongly suggest the presence of water frozen within the soil.
其实水量不太多，但以往认为水在月球只存在在寒冷阴暗的月球极地，如今发现水分因为阳光照射而反射出光芒的痕迹，推测整个月球表面土壤都含有大量水分。科学家相当兴奋，因为如果能取得这些水，那么以后太空人登月就能在月球上取得饮用水，甚至可能透过分离主义分子来制造火箭燃料以及呼吸用的氧气。
Scientists believe that water on the moon may have two different origins. One theory is that water arrived on the moon through comets or other celestial bodies that carried water in their rock layers. The other view assumes a local origin and sees the protons in the solar winds undergoing a chemical reaction with the hydrogen atoms in the lunar rocks, which as a result.
不过最近几年关于阿波罗登月计划传出了许多阴谋论，不少人认为所谓的登月根本就是一场骗局，一切都只是在摄影棚拍出来的。
There's the well-peddled conspiracy theory that the moon landings never happened in the first place, and NASA just can't be bothered to fake elaborate lunar missions anymore.
至于为什么不再登上月球呢？有几种推论。第一种就是费用实在太高了，加上没办法带来什么实际效益，所以这个计划就被搁置了。
The Apollo program's total cost was about $25.4 billion, equivalent to around $152 billion in today's dollars.
除此之外，更有超自然说法。
Take a look at these photos. Some believe this looks like vehicle tracks. How did these things get there? Journalist Alexis Brooks says some believe they could be the work of an ancient interstellar civilization called the Anunnaki.
这个专家口中所讲的阿努纳奇到底是谁呢？
The Anunnaki first appeared in the ancient traditions of the Sumerians and the Babylonians over 3,000 years ago. Do these images suggest they or another civilization landed on the moon?
这是否说明了外星物种早就到访过地球呢？更有一说是月球的背面，并不像是我们所看到的正面一样一片荒凉，而是有着城市罕建筑存在。
For all that time, we've only ever been looking at one side of it, the near side. If the half we can see has proved itself intriguing and mysterious, wait until you hear about the one we can't.
或许很少人知道，我们永远只能看到月球的正面。由于月球被地球的潮汐锁定，自转和公转的周期是相同的，所以都是以同一个方向面向地球，于是就产生了外星人基地藏在月球背面的说法。
The aliens on the dark side of the moon theory has been popular for a long time. Theorists claim that astronauts who have seen these aliens have been sworn to secrecy, and that the alien base is codenamed Luna.
就连美国国家太空总署 NASA 所能拍到的月背影像也很有限，因为月球会阻断太空船和地球的直接通讯，而探索月球背面的工作，直到2019年才出现了重大进展。
One of the most significant current lunar leaders is the Chang'e 4 spacecraft sent by the CNSA, China's official space program. The Chang'e 4 is our first craft to land on the fabled dark side of the moon.
中国大陆月球探测器嫦娥4号成功登陆月球背面，跟住一起上月球的棉花种子，还一度传出了发芽的消息，但因为月球在日落后低温降到了-170度，确定死亡。不过这株发芽的棉花也成为了人类史上第一株在月球上生长的植物。
我们就从人类的必需品这个角度来进行选材，粮、棉、油、棉花、穿衣服，是吧？油、炒菜，在月面做生存或者建立月球基地，做一些技术的积累。
负责嫦娥4号植物研究的重庆大学准备了18公分高的月面微型生态圈容器，里面装了空气、水、土壤、果蝇卵、含酵母，另外还有棉花种子、马铃薯种子、阿拉伯芥种子、油菜种子。但除了棉花种子有发芽之外，其他种子都没有动静。而这次嫦娥4号登月，也是首度由探测器探索月球背面。
The view we get of the moon from the Earth is always the same though, because its orbit is locked. But 41% of the moon's surface, the far side, is always hidden from Earth's view.
据说 NASA 在登月前发射了许多飞行器来观测月球，就拍了月球背面有城市的照片，不过全都被列为了最高机密。
1960s, Ken Johnston was a NASA test pilot, but later as director of the Data and Photo Control Department at the Johnson Space Flight Center. He says on one of the moon missions, the astronauts came back with intriguing photographs.
I was in kind of shock. And some of the craters would actually show domes and actual bases.
But what's even more shocking, Ken says when he asked his boss about the photos, he was told to stop asking.
而参与登月计划的太空人也证实，在月球上有一段很特别的经历。在阿波罗计划45周年的时候，和阿姆斯壮一起登陆月球的太空人艾德琳接受访问时就说了，在登陆月球的时候看到了奇怪的光，更拍了许多无法解释的照片。到底有没有外星人？而这些外星人是不是就在月球上呢？或许很难有肯定的答案，因为到目前为止都没有足够证据，所以一切都仅止于推论。但无可否认的是，在宇宙中还有许多未知的事物正等住人类。希望您会喜欢今天主题，也欢迎在下方留言分享你对这些的看法。大家帮我按赞、订阅、开小铃铛，谢谢。感谢收看，下次再见。